Coach, can you talk about how, since you guys get so many great matchup-based offenses, Coach Golis has said, the decision-making of Hendon Hooker to, obviously you guys are setting some of those up pre-snap, but then for him to identify those and go to the right places when you have those matchups?
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of being invested completely into the game plan on our end and also understanding what he's getting defensively. So what you're seeing is him, when the stuff that we do set up isn't there, which is him getting us right a lot of the times on the back end of that. So you see him getting to his second and third read. You're seeing him check plays at the line of scrimmage, and then the defense check out, and then he gets to the check off the check. So he's doing a lot of pre-snap operation at a really high level, which is why he's being extremely successful post-snap.
Joey, I know Hendon is like disciplined and under control like 90% of the time, but can you give us some example when he's been agitated or angry or animated, just sometime when he's lost his cool, even in a good way?
I haven't seen him lose his cool. He's extremely competitive. So you're going to see him like compete at a really high level. It's fiery, like when you see him score on that option he ran the other day, like he was jacked up going in there, but comes over to the sideline, jumps on the headset, and he's right back down to himself. So he's got the fire, the competitiveness that you want, but it never takes him to the point where it makes him play outside of his game.
Joey, he's so many explosive plays. You know, fans just throw it deep every time. How impressed have you been with Hendon's patience with that decision making? To take the easier throw, to check to the run when the box is light. How impressed are you with his patience at the game?
It's been great, and we've had the conversation that as you start having success, especially in this style of offense, a lot of guys start to get greedy. And you're not seeing that from him at all. You're seeing him check the ball down. You're seeing him find his tight ends, his backs. You're seeing him get to comebacks, all that type of stuff. When, sometimes it'd be easy just to drop back and try to throw it as far as you can to Jalen. But he's not just launching the ball when he does it. When he's taking his shots downfield, it's calculated, it's made sense to him, and that's why you're seeing the completion percentage down the field at such a high clip, because he's not throwing it for the sake of throwing it. He's throwing it when it makes sense.
Joey, how many things go into getting a quarterback to make decisions as quickly as y'all need a quarterback to do that? I mean, I know it's not the only one. There's guys all over the place that have to on the offense, but how quickly or how much goes into getting the quarterbacks to do what y'all need them to do?
It's a lot. It's a primary focus of our off-season training, which is why we do like our QB school in the summer, where it's all defensive recognition through absolute mud pictures, because that's what they see when they snap it. Our guys, they have to process faster than anybody in the country. That's a fact. It is what it is, because we're playing at a high clip, so they got to find muddy pictures and make sense out of them really, really quickly. His off-season preparation, I know I said that last time I was in here, has allowed him to see and dissect defenses extremely quickly, which is why when we're going fast, when it does look like a jumbled mess on the other side of the ball, he's still eye definition, discipline, knows exactly where he's going, which means his feet are in good position, which means he's accurate. So it's the whole system playing together like that.
Rob, then Page.
Coach, Georgia, I mean, if you look at it, obviously they're leading the SEC in defense, total yardage, but they don't make a ton of sacks. I mean, they don't force a ton of turnovers. That doesn't seem to go hand in hand. Are they just good enough to play vanilla?
You wouldn't call them vanilla by any stretch. They're a really good defense. We all know that. They got guys that can rush the passer. They got blitzers. They got cover guys. You don't see a lot of flaws on their defense looking at them, especially from a personnel standpoint. They're well coached. They're in position. You see them flying to the football. That's why you're not seeing them give up big plays, give up a lot of yardage, just because they have a bunch of guys around the ball, and you see a bunch of guys that are well coached with really good eye discipline. So it's not as much like they don't get home or they don't force it. They're playing and they're making tackles and they're keeping everything in front of them and they're making guys snap it again, and then they're doing a good job of getting off the field on third downs.
Hendon has recently emerged as the Heisman favorite. What do you think it is about with the voters or the bettors that they find Hendon to be so special to be maybe that first Tennessee player to get the Heisman?
I think with Hendon, his numbers are speaking for themselves right now, and he's been in a lot of big games this year, and it doesn't look like any big game has been too big for him. You haven't seen him shy away from the moment. You've seen him step up, and every time we've gone against a ranked team at home or on the road, he's stepped up and had one of his best performances of the year. So the level of competition he's playing in this league is I think people respect the fact that he's putting up these kind of numbers against this kind of competition.
Patrick, then Ben.
Coach, Jerome Carvin was in here yesterday and talking about how, from a leadership standpoint, Hendon, when he talks, guys listen, their eyes kind of light up, they follow him. At what point did you, from your vantage point, did you see that him get to that point?
Yeah, at about like the halfway point last year, you saw him come into his own and start seeing himself as the man, as the guy that was leading this team, as opposed to the guy that was, just he's still trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the best way to do it, how he leads this specific locker room, because it was his first year around all these guys anyways. People forget that with him being a senior and sixth-year guy, that it was his first time around all these guys. So you still got to feel out the locker room and feel out how these guys need to be led and want to be led. So now he's completely taken that and he's ran it to a next level where now he can run it the way he sees fit, because the guys follow him because they know the way he works and the way he prepares and then the way he performs on game day. All that goes together with him being able to take charge of this team.
With everything you just described, does that make Hendon the perfect quarterback, perfect player, perfect guy to coach up? I guess how big of a blessing is it to coach him from week to week?
Like that, it's our whole quarterback room. I've told the guys that before. It's fun going in there. Like we have a bunch of good dudes in there that are also really good players, and they pull for each other. They're critical of each other. So going in that room is a blessing every day that I get to be here and coach those guys. Hendon specifically, but all 5 of them in that room.
Last question to Vince.
Joey, can you speak to that operation of having to go the fastest in the country, but with the coaches, how you guys merge all that together and do what you guys need to do as a coaching staff to make sure it operates all together, you, Coach Golish, Coach Hype, all that?
So as we're putting the game plan together throughout the week, it's a lot of it because, like I was saying, of how the quarterback has to process this and how he has to see it, because the quarterback makes it go in this offense. It's always communicated like, is he good with that? So we take it into the meetings, we talk through it. Coach Golish and I and Coach Heupel, we all meet together like, all right, what is Hendon like? What do the quarterbacks see? How do they see it? If they're not comfortable with it, it's gone. So it's a good communal effort to get to the best possible solution on a Saturday as a staff. And on game day calling it, I'm sitting there just trying to give out like where bodies are as fast as I can, communicating to Hendo after the drive and talking to AG, saying like, hey, this is what he's seeing out there. He wants to get to this. Cool. Then we'll put some stuff together, talk back down to Hendon and say like, hey, this is what we're going to get to coming up. He knows what's coming and he's ready to go operate it. So it really is a true team effort from the guys down on the field to up in the box to all week leading up to game day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.